Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Paul's Talk. For this morning, we're going to talk about good disposition and moral character. So I'm going to share to you my knowledge about why we need to have teachers of good disposition and moral character. But before we go through, let us first define what is moral character. So, moral character can be conceptualized as an individual's disposition to think, feel, and behave in an ethical versus unethical manner. So, going back, what is ethical manner? So, these are the right things, doing the right things. Unethical manner are considered to be actions that are against social norms and or actions that are considered unacceptable to the public. But we need to consider this one as we try to understand an ethical manner. What is the standard of social norms? What is the standard of the public between the things that we considered acceptable and unacceptable? Because we need to consider the culture, the system, the situation, the location. If in that particular situation, or in that particular community accepts that certain action which we consider unethical, then can we consider that ethical because it is part of their culture? So much on that. Good disposition of a teacher talks about accepting reality in the best way that it can be and also adopting the culture, the system of moral character, good moral character with all the things that we are doing. So, moral character perhaps best described as the totality of person's disposition or characteristics that play a role in how the person, morally speaking, and behaves. So, how do we behave as a teacher? We behave in accordance with the law. We need to consider that one. We behave in accordance of what we see right and what we see wrong. We behave in accordance of the things that we think which can do better or which can give better enhancement to our learners. As a teacher, I always believe that always considering the right things is the best thing to do in every situation. I am dealing not only with those things that are happening inside the classroom, I am dealing with the things that might happen after they go out in the four corners of my room. And that is one of the dispositions that I am always considering. So, examples of moral character is honesty. And it's part of being a teacher. We always need to be honest at all costs. As what I have said before, we are serving as a role model to everyone. And serving as a role model is showing your attitude, showing the things that you are doing, and letting them adapt those things. And if you are an honest person, these particular pupils can easily adopt the essence of being an honest one, especially in everyday living. The next one is trustworthiness. We always need to trust someone else. And aside from trusting someone else, knowing their identity as teachers should always be trustworthy enough in the eyes of our learners, especially for those learners who believe in us. They are considering us as their idols, as a certain role model, as what I have said before. And we need to be trustworthy enough in their eyes. So, diligence. Well, it is innate for us as teachers. We need to develop that particular moral character. So, reliability. Reliability not only in the sense of information that we are giving to our pupils, knowledge that they are gaining from us through our experiences, but reliability in the sense that everything that we are doing to them should always be reliable, should always be consistent enough for them to think that, oh, this particular teacher is considered to be reliable at all costs. So that's one point to consider, an additional point for us. So integrity. Why do we need to have integrity? As teacher, it is part of moral character. Having this particular integrity describes and defines who you are and what you can do as a teacher. It explains about influences. But among those particular influences that you are doing, you're also trying to teach them about the good things, the right things, the bad things, and the things that you always need to consider. So, respect for the law. Being respectful enough for the law is showing that you are a good citizen. That's the concept. But other than that, being respectful enough to the law is trying to influence other people, especially the young generation, that the law should always be considered being a member of a community, being a citizen of a certain country, being a colleague in a certain department. So the law is very important. And respect for the right of others. Yes, this is very important. We are trying to involve ourselves in a certain thing, in a certain culture which always define about positivity, define about reclassification of standards, define about the right things, the wrong things, and what are the things that we need to prioritize. So if we know how to respect others, then it will be easily for us to gain the respect from other people. Golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So you always need to consider the things that you should do to others, that you must do to others, because those things that you are doing to them are also the things that you might receive after all. So next one, absence of hatred and racism. Well, this is very important. Absence of hatred. We need to spread love in all the things that we are doing. As we try to communicate with other people, the best thing to communicate with them is sharing love. The feeling of being in love or being loved, and also the feeling of giving someone the love he or she deserves. So, racism, absence of racism, yes, we need to accept differences, because as we try to accept differences, we are trying to accept our imperfections. And the last ninth one is fiscal responsibility. Well, if you're a person or a teacher who's good in handling when it comes to financial expenses, financial responsibilities, then it is considered as a good moral character also, as a moral character or a person having a good disposition because of that. Because a financial responsibility reflects about on how you handle financial stability in every situation. And the last one is mental and is emotional stability. So mental stability is very important. Emotional stability is as important as mental stability, because these two particularly connects the way we think, the way we respond, and the way we deal with everyone else. So the way we are trying to connect with other people, the way we are trying to connect with all the things that are happening, requires a good stability of mental and emotional health. So according to Cohen and Morse 2014, moral character can be conceptualized as an individual's disposition to think, feel, and behave in an ethical versus unethical manner. So this is what I said before. Or as the subset of individuals differs relevant to morality. So again, morality is an action, intentions, decision which is concerning to a behavior, be it right or wrong. So as a teacher who has a good disposition with all of this moral character, we need to consider what is right. We always need to consider what is right. We always need to consider what is wrong. So there are a lot of different management strategies that we are considering as a leader also, which we can apply as a teacher. For example, altruism, love of neighbor, Kant's categorical imperative, utilitarianism. So justice is fairness somehow. So those are the things that we are applying as a leader. Also as a teacher, we can apply in making such decision for the betterment of our everyday classroom situation, and also with dealing as to our pupils. So for me, teachers, we need to have good disposition of moral character, because it directs us to the right thing. It directs us on what are the things that we need to prioritize, what are the things that we need to set aside, and also what are the things that we need to apply to everyone else, especially to our learners. Because having a moral character, a good disposition in every moral character defines our characteristic as a role model teacher. So that's all, and thank you for listening to another episode of Pulse Talk. Good morning.